Hi, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the Community Voice channel. I am Cheryl Jones, editor of the Joy magazine for women and host of Joy for Midlife Women. So thank you for tuning in. Today I have as a guest is Jeanette Mendez. She's from Nutmeg Big Brothers Big Sisters, and she is the director of the Foster Grandparent Program. We are going to hear about all the information that we can to help us be a part of a very needed program in the Connecticut area. So Jeanette, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for visiting with us. So can you tell us a little bit about the Grandparent Foster Program?
Okay, so some people get confused because it is Foster Grandparent Program, so they think that we are actually fostering kids in the homes with the grandparents. That's not the case with our program. Our program is actually, we have seniors, 55 and over. My oldest grandparent who volunteers at a school is 97 years old.
Excellent.
So what they do is they go into childhood centers or schools and they work with the small people, like I call them the children, and they do reading, arts and craft, building their motor skills, emotion, playing games, how to write their names, and just that extra support that the kids need. And as I know and I recall, my grandmother was everything to me. So having a grandmother and a grandpa, because we also have grandpas, be in a classroom and just help the teacher out with just, helping the kids out. It's a win-win for both.
This sounds excellent. So it's wonderful to know that there are experiences that, the seniors, the midlife women and men can bring to the children. That is very helpful. Is that something that is new, or how long has this program been in effect?
Well, actually, this program, one of our greatest funders is Corporation for Community National Service.
Okay.
They actually funded the program. We are all over the map, and it's been 50 plus years that this program has been in existence.
That's wonderful. That's really wonderful. Now, this has been, as we all know, a very challenging time for adults to get through the pandemic. We're a year in, and we're hearing that children are really having even a tougher time, not only understanding why, but parents can't even help the children the way they would really like to. How has this affected the programs that you're running?
So everything, as you know, like you said, was shut down. And just like the children are suffering and missing the grandpas, so was the grandpas and the grandmas.
That's right.
And it had a huge impact. I stay connected with them. We do contact calls every week just to touch base with the grandparents.
Okay.
And in their voices, listening to them, you already know they're missing their children. They're like, I just want to go see my babies and I just want to spend time. So now it's evolving where we are actually bringing our seniors to this current time with electronics and things like that.
Absolutely.
So now the schools and some of our early childhood centers are allowing us to work with them. Grandparents still cannot go in, but they are allowing now that we're going to do Zoom meetings.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So guess what? We have to train seniors how to do Zoom meetings.
Okay.
I haven't, like I mentioned, I have a 97-year-old.
That's right.
That I have to show her.
How are you going to take on that feat?
So we've been, little by little, we've been actually coming, have them come into our office. Everything is safe, following all the proper protocols, everybody mask, distancing, and so forth. And we've actually had sessions where we have sat down, a lot of patience, a lot of time, a lot of repeating, but they're actually getting the hang of it. And some of them are really amazed that, oh my God, I can do this. And I get to see my babies.
Right. See, that's so wonderful because we have to find a way to reach out.
Correct.
And that's why I'm so happy to be able to bring you in today and that you were willing to come, because there must be a way that, we can jump back into the programs differently. But we have to provide the support.
Correct.
Now, I heard you mention that it was volunteer.
Yes.
So is there a need for volunteers right now in your foster grandparent program?
Absolutely. So currently I have Greater Hartford we cover, and we also cover in Eastern Connecticut.
Okay.
And there's always room because, as you know, there's many children, many sites, and we start from as small as early childhood all the way up to 6th grade.
Okay.
And, what I would like to do or what I would like to see is if one of the kids are placed and the grandparent goes along with them as they go along in the grade. I
Oh,
think
that's
that
right.
would be amazing for
Okay.
both.
So once you start a relationship, you get to
Correct.
build upon it and
Yes.
stay. You become family.
Yes.
You start to become a family.
Yes, and
right?
the kids will go home and start saying, well, grandma said this, well, grandma say that, and their parents are like, who? And grandma said this and grandma said that. They see them out in public because some of them do live within the same community, and they're screaming, grandma,
Right.
so it's
Wow.
wonderful.
That's beautiful. I know how that feels too. I myself had worked in the school program and happened to be in a store, and one of the children was walking through with their parent, and they're looking around the aisle at me like, there she is. Hey. That's wonderful because they form that relationship with you, and we need that. And that helps with the maturity and the growing.
Right.
And right now we need friends.
Yes, we do.
Right?
Yes, we
Is there
do.
any special skills that an individual would need to be a part of the Foster Grandparent Program?
Lots of love, lots of patience.
Okay.
And really, that's it. You do have to go through an extensive interview process,
Sure,
which
sure.
also includes background checks.
Perfect.
And of course, we're working with our children. We have to protect our children, but
That's
we're
right.
also working with our seniors.
right.
But once that, and then some orientation, and then we'll set you up with a site that is closest to your home.
Okay.
And depending on what grade level, because you might want to work with a 6th grader. I don't know why, but you might want to. Or you might want to work with the younger ones. And then
Right.
we try to coordinate you based also on your past. Like, what did you do? Were you a teacher maybe or anything? We welcome everyone with open arms.
That's really good because, you say 6th graders, but a lot of the seniors or midlife viewers that are out there right now, they may have been teachers or subs in the school department, and they're just waiting to get back involved. And this is a great way
Yes.
to form a relationship with a student, build up their morale,
Correct.
give them some joy, I like
Correct.
to say, even if it's on a electronic or Zoom. So I assume that you could do phone calls
Yes.
as well as you could do
Correct.
Zoom, you could do check-ins,
Yes.
something like that. So is there any dedicated amount of hours that one would have to give to be a part of the program?
So the minimum is 5 hours a week, and the maximum is 25 hours.
Wow. That's
So
very doable.
yes, you can.
Yes.
And I'm like, I mentioned Miss Pittman, who's my 97-year-old.
That's
She would go in for
wonderful.
20 hours, and I'm like, I don't even want to work 20 hours. But
Yeah,
she would
yeah.
volunteer. But that just goes, and the whole thing is the way the relationships just evolve, And I mean, our seniors have so much to give our youth.
Yes.
So
Oh,
much
yes.
wisdom,
That's
so
right.
much direction, so much love,
yeah.
that, it's a good thing.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that it's also a two-way street. I know that just being in the company of younger people and the children, they have the funniest ways. They, you know what, and really they're so able to handle this pandemic even better than we really expect that they were going to. They can find ways to amuse themselves, It may not always be the way we want them to,
Correct.
but they find the light side of what's going on,
Right.
And I
Right.
think that we as adults often need that sometimes too. To
Definitely.
help with our stress levels. So that's
Definitely.
good to hear.
Yes.
So what are the other needs, or are there any other needs with the Big Brothers Big Sister program that we can talk about?
Well, so Nutmeg Big Brothers Big Sisters has evolved 1966. It was one of the greatest mentoring agencies. So our senior, like I call it, mentoring program is community-based.
Okay.
And that's where we seek young adults 21 and over.
Okay.
And we try to match them up with any of the children between the ages of 6 and 14 that might need that extra person. They might not have a big brother. They might not
right.
have a big sister. And then we have our coordinators who go out, they meet the big, and they interview them. They go through a process, and that we find out what's your likes, what's your dislikes, what's your belief.
Okay, so
Then
there's a good little match.
it's
that
a little
you set
match,
up.
and then we do the same thing with the children and their
Okay.
families.
All right.
And then once that, then they come together, they meet, and then they start the ball rolling. And it could be a minimum of 6 to 10 hours a month. But most of the matches, when they meet up, they exceed that time.
Yes.
And I know of matches that the kids have grown, gotten married, and have children of their own, and they
Yes.
still keep in touch with their big.
Oh, that
And
is
I think that's
wonderful.
beautiful.
That's what you call it, a community of
That's
family.
right. And
That's
you know, we
right.
all know that to raise a child, we need.
A village. That's
So,
right.
yeah,
That's
and it's
right.
just that support and coaching and educating, and just sometimes they just want someone to be all about them.
Yes.
And not at no fault of their parents. Sometimes
No.
they come from single homes and the
Sure.
mother's busy working to provide. It's not, or there's other siblings.
That's
so I want one just for me and someone to just be all about me.
That's right. And one of the things I also think about with my children, I have grown daughters with children and they live out of town. And when I feel that I could go visit my grandchildren and give my daughters a break or something like that, I'm not able to do that. So
Right.
you may have families that have extended family away from them.
Correct.
And they would need that type of a break. And I could see how having a big sister, a big brother, having a foster grandparent would make so much perfect sense and be so helpful to that family.
Yes.
I also was thinking about going back to that technology piece. Is there a way that families are helped if they don't have the technology, one side or the other, the foster grandparent or the child?
For the foster grandparents, we've been blessed with our funders, and Nutmeg also helping us to purchase tablets and laptops and headsets for the grandparents. Now for community-based, also the same thing has happened where we are able to provide some of the children. I know that the director worked closely like with AT&T and was able to get a certain amount of phones so they can stay connected with their bigs, and then they pass them out to the families.
That's beautiful.
So blessings like that, and with corporations,
Yes.
sending, I remember for Christmas, we had one of the biggest I call it toy store because that's what the office looked like. A gentleman, he does this every single year out of Glastonbury. He's actually a bus driver, and it's Cram the Van. There was so much toys, Cheryl. It was ridiculous.
I've heard of Cram the Van.
It was insane. And then the bigs would come in and select items for the littles, but not only for their littles, also their siblings, which
that's
was
beautiful.
something. And we still had leftover.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Yes.
I think this is a wonderful, I always knew that Big Brothers Big Sisters, Nutmeg Big Brothers Big Sisters is a beautiful program, and now I'm hearing about the Foster Grandparent Program. That is very something. Is there anything else that we should be telling our viewers? How would they get involved?
So they can actually go to our website, which is nbbbs.org.
Okay.
And on that, on our webpage, you would click on the programs and it would list all 3 programs.
Okay.
And it would have all the contact information for all 3 programs. And I know for community-based, you could go right online and complete an application. For us, because we're the older population, but there is the contact for myself, for my coordinator here in Greater Hartford, as well as my coordinator in Eastern Connecticut.
Okay.
And we can get the ball rolling.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Anything else our readers should know that I haven't brought up?
Definitely. No, definitely. So like for today, for instance, just like the children have kind of hard time dealing with the pandemic, so our seniors. So now that things are coming about and most of them have been vaccinated, we bring them to what we call in-service, which is a monthly requirement once you are a program.
Okay.
But today was, so we always try to shower them with gifts and gratitude because what they do is amazing.
Okay.
They do receive a small stipend of $3.
Okay.
Okay, but it's no taxes. It doesn't go against any programs that might be helping them out in, Social Security, any assistance or anything like that. It doesn't count against that. So we brought them in today, and we actually had them do prep work for the kids.
Okay.
So here we have my 97-year-old cutting out goldfishes.
We have to meet her.
You
This
have
is
to meet Miss Pittman. You have
wonderful.
to. She is so funny.
Wow, that's so
So we
nice.
had them prep work. They were cutting out fishies. They were organizing
Okay.
googly eyes. And they just did it in just the smile and the love because it's for their kids.
Okay.
And then we created hands for all the sites, and the grandmas got to decorate the hands and put inspirational words on the hands.
Okay.
And then we're going to turn them into the schools
Okay.
for the children so they can know that grandma's absent from you at the moment, but she's with you. She's thinking about you.
So is that an opportunity for maybe any of our viewers to be involved if they don't want to be on a regular basis with a student,
Absolutely.
but they can also volunteer some time with your
Absolutely.
services, maybe doing
Yes.
some crafty things
Yes.
or
And
that's
I'm
good.
yes, and I'm always looking to bring in, people to educate our seniors on, let's just say, health, on how to eat better, on how to work with children,
Okay.
or on, like you said, or just come in and do a fun workshop. I had a young lady come in and do a fitness workshop, and they loved it.
that's beautiful.
I mean, they were. By the time they were done, their backs were hurting, their knees were hurting,
Right.
but they absolutely loved it.
This is
So,
good. I understand that the program is to support the children, but it really sounds like you're supporting seniors, midlife individuals that need extra involvement and want to be
Yes.
involved in the community. You're
Correct.
opening the doors for them to be cared for also.
We
This
know
is
how
wonderful.
important human contact is, right?
right.
We know that. And some of our grandparents, either their kids live somewhere else or their kids are working, so they're isolated at home.
Right.
This gives them a purpose to wake up in the morning, a purpose to get dressed, a
That's
purpose to
right.
go out. And, they work with the kids, but also I have teachers that are like, that's my grandmother. And other staff within the schools or in the early child center. So it's just a win-win for
right.
both.
One of the articles that we had in our January issue of Joy was about letter writing, the joy of writing.
Nice.
And returning back to that life because we've become so electronic driven that I'm sure children, I know adults do, would love to get a piece of mail,
Well-
or something like that. Do they allow that to happen?
Yes, well, it's so funny that you say that. So, in brainstorming and thinking outside the box and working with seniors, you have to become very creative. So, we created what we call the traveling book bag. So, what's in that book bag is a journal.
Okay.
That the grandmothers can write back and forth with the kids. There's a project that they can do. So let's just say in the book bag for this week, we have grandma writing to whatever, we get a list of the children, and she would actually write out to each child. And then let's just say it's reading a book. Like we're going to do something called I Need a Hug.
Okay.
Grandma is going to be reading I Need a Hug via Zoom.
Okay.
But then after that, she's going to show them the activity that's going to go along with it.
Beautiful.
And then it's funny that you say about the writing. I have a grandmother who actually came into our office. She had 5 names of one of the schools and the children, and she wrote letters to each and every one children, and we mailed it out to them.
Beautiful.
So we're just waiting to find out how that impacted the second graders at Laurel Elementary.
Perfect. Very nice. So this has been a wonderful opportunity, and I know that there has to be viewers out there that would be interested in being a part of the Nutmeg Big Brothers Big Sisters Foster Grandparent Program. A lot of dimensions. So we want our viewers to go to the website, which is nbbbs.org. And you can say that you heard from Jeanette Mendez, all the wonderful and opportunities that you can take on to get involved. I really like that traveling book bag. I like to try and be creative, and that one I haven't heard of. I really like that, and we really look forward to being a part of the program. So, Jeanette, any last things that we should cover?
I will just say, if you have a little time, an hour, a half hour, or anything, giving back and feeling our time and back into our communities and investing into the children in any which way, whether you want to be a big sister, a big brother, which you just want to maybe do site-based. So site-based is another program that we have, and we actually pair up with corporations or schools, and we get mentors either from the corporations or within the schools, and they do activities on a weekly basis that might range from 60 to 90 minutes. It entails homework, arts and crafts, but also shooting hoops or just chit-chatting and building that relationship. So even that. So, I mean, we need volunteers in all facets.
Right.
So.
Perfect. And then, of course, spring is coming. We're not going to be in
Correct.
winter much longer, a little bit longer, but not much. And so even with social distancing, our members can get together with the children, the parents can get together with the children's, right?
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
and
they-
maybe take a walk,
Exactly.
or be on the court and shoot a
Yes.
few baskets,
Yes.
or just to
Correct.
catch the air and be
Correct.
outside, even if it's for 20 minutes or something. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes, and I say this with my seniors, and I even say it for myself, sometimes we need them more than they need us.
That's what I'm thinking, you know?
Honestly.
Our time to get out and enjoy, sometimes we don't know how to do that, you know?
Correct.
But you take a little one, I have to go meet my foster child. I have to feed, what do you call the children?
Littles.
Littles. I have to meet my little, and we're going for a walk today. You really look forward to that, you
Yes.
know? That's beautiful.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, my seniors, I've been with this program since 2014. I started as the coordinator, and some of the seniors that I still have in my program are still with me, and they have given me so much. So much
sounds
love,
like you've
so
made
much
a lot.
wisdom, so much words of support.
Wow.
It's amazing. It really, really is.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Jeanette. So I thank you for your visit with me today. This has really been a valuable experience and important information for all of us. So I thank you, and go to nbbbs.org for more information. And then you can look for this story in the next issue of Joy Magazine at www.thejoymagazine.com. Thank you to the Community Voice channel for bringing this series of Joy for Midlife Women.